Greetings, magnificent, beloved spirit soul that you are. Just take a nice deep breath. Breathing is really important. Most people are oxygen starved in their bodies. The bodies are starved from the lack of water, and that's hydrogen and oxygen, So take a nice deep breath right here. Be here now. Yeah, be right there where you are. My topic: the healing and sickening power of your own voice. Woo-hoo-hoo. Now, okay, sound. All right. This entire reality is a manifestation of sound. And from sound comes electricity and also magnetism. All right? Now, the sound then vibration is very, very important because there's transcendental sound and then there's material sound. The Sanskrit language is the language of the divine, of the spiritual realm. There are words and such that are way beyond anything in English, which is a constructed spell-casting language made from many different languages put together by John Dees and Francis Bacon, and probably others. But anyway, it's a collective work. And bringing in the thinking process, because thinking is always in words. And those words we've been taught how to pronounce. We've been taught the letters. You also have Hebrew, which is the language of magic, in the sense that is not divine magic, but it is a manipulation and manifestation of particular realities. And even in the Sanskrit language, and so much of the Vedas, first of all, starting with the Rig Veda, are really mostly about sound and about how to manifest naturally through sound. Then when you get the sound system hacked, where you have a, what would you say, a perversion in the sound, where it is, and you can notice how there was a perversion in 1939 when they changed the standard across the plane of the Earth is to 440, which is it's a frequency. See, everything here, just like the sweater in a sense, okay, has its own vibrational signature, just like you have your own vibrational frequency or signature. And when I have the thought or the word of this sweater, of a design in my mind and a color and such, it has its own frequency. So when I have that concept, just like everything, when that matriculates through the dimensions of, particularly with sound, and it becomes all pervasive as ether, because we're all pervasive, but all pervasive in this expression, this reality, as the ether. Then, okay, so then you've got so-called sacred geometry, which is just geometry, which is showing how, as the consciousness matriculates down through the dimensions that are there from us, and then produces. So this is really a thought that has slowed down, which has all the capabilities of this sweater or the hat or the body or the TV or your chair or the car. And that's a manifestation of your thought at the most dense level, slowest level. And you get the most dense would be like a bullet, or it would be the most that would go like down to that level. So your own voice will heal you or make you sick, the body sick, and also your own tone. And people don't have any idea what this is. When you talk with people, And see, like people have, like say if there's someone who's, how are you? Oh, I'm fine. Okay. What's going on? Nothing. What's going on? I'm okay. Everything's fine. Now this is it's this yucky stuff. Or how are you? Fine. What are you doing? Nothing. It's like they don't. And when I hate them and I'm hangry at them and I'm gonna get them and I'm get rage and let's just kill each other and this is not natural. This is not us. This is not who we are. But this is what we have been taught to believe is true, that humans are evil and mean and cruel. No, we've done those things because we've been taught and told and trained and hypnotized into these kinds of activities and the whole birth-death scenario. See, and so the key, you've got to overcome fear. And you do that when you know who you are. You have no fear of any of this anymore because you know who you are. And your own voice. They don't realize that when they're nasty to others, already they've knocked themselves off. Already they're changing their divine frequency, which isn't a frequency, it's a divine, what would you call it, feeling. It's a vibration. It's not an electronic frequency. So you've got cell towers, you've got telephone towers, you've got electrical systems, okay, harnessing that activity through maybe damming up rivers so that destroys everything below it and everything else, but you could get money for the thing. So all of this, you people say, well, how would we live if we don't do all of these things? We are life itself. That isn't even in question, but it's the quality of our own divine existence. Because so when someone says, how are you? You want to say, fabulous, thank you for asking, how are you? Or I've never been better in my entire experience in the time game. It's not, oh, I'm okay, everything's, oh yeah, could be better. Oh, I hate this person and I have all this fear of what's going on, what's going to happen to me and my stuff and then, see, I don't even like to do it. Because when you do that, these are the results of words, of sentences, and it's a sentence for a period of time that you've cursed yourself into and believing you're telling the truth. Say, well, why should I say I feel good when I feel bad? That's a lie. No, yourself, who you really are, is never harmed or hurt. Ever, ever, ever. You're an eternal being and you're witnessing. And the covering is what you're choosing to focus on is the mind and the thoughts and the words and the situations as if it's happening to you as a victim. And you remember the game that's going on here is victim, perpetrator, and savior. And that causes us in all of our relationships and everything else going on out there, instead of owning our own world, our own reality, our own bubble. And when you are in your own bubble of consciousness, that does not mean you are excluding others. It does not mean you are harming others or wishing them troubles at all. But if each of us owned our own bubble of life, of who we are, of consciousness, why wouldn't you want to be happy? Why wouldn't you want to be joyous? How could you be joyous and have fun when all of this is going on? How could you be happy when people are miserable? How could you be well and people were sick so you could feel guilty for your good fortune? You see, this is then. And then people sing songs, born to lose, I live my life in vain. Really? Who's vain? And is that a town or a city? Born to lose? Really? But you know what? That's kind of true in this world. And you believe the birth-death scenario, it's all to use you as an energy source because of who you are. And then you're made to think or believe in certain things that, well, God doesn't really like you because you're a creep and we're going to get rid of you and we're special and you're not. Well, that's interesting. But the same thing is you have a right to choose how you want to live and where you want to be and what you want to do. And everything about that is your own freedom, your freedom, your consciousness. All is consciousness and sound vibration. So you want to get practicing. And also I studied the voice from the maestro, David Kyle, and your own voice is a healing tool. Your own voice, your own sound is glorious and magnificent, just like the Rife machine. That healed people by sound and energy frequencies, because there is the vibration of health. And then there are these frequencies of sickness and stress and disease. And then people are promoting it by their bad attitude. People are promoting it by their, there's some people you look at and they just have so much envy coming out. They just hate the sight of you because you're happy and doing stuff and alive, and they just resent you. Has nothing to do with you. It's because this is their belief system. This is what they do. And they have hatred and resentment. And that does not mean that because if I love, that I want everybody to come live in my house. No way. I sent my children to private school. My daughter, Rebecca, homeschooled both my granddaughters up to college. They're fabulous people. Beautiful, loving, kind, generous, intelligent, able, because of what would you say? Having your own bubble. You don't have to bring the whole world into your bubble. You have the right, not because you've been given it. It's not, you don't get rights from the Declaration and from the Constitution. All of these things are, we'll write these and tell you what you have and what you don't. Who are they? And it appears as a different species. Just start to look at that. I do a lot. I can't tell you everything here, what I do, except when you work with me by phone or in person. Because it has to be these sincere people who really are willing to crack that code, in a sense, that has been perpetrated on humanity, that causes all of the disease, all the destruction, all the war, all the crime, all the violence, all the ugliness, because that's not natural. It isn't the way it is. Well, history tells you who wrote the books, who put the pictures in. How do you know it just isn't a cycle going over and over every 150 years? So, here's the deal. I can hear the sound of the plane. Sound. And you want to have the most beautiful, magnificent sounds, especially the ones that come from you. But anyway, I'll talk more on that later. Big hugs. Open yourself to your good. Use your voice as a healing instrument.